The XRP price went absolutely wild yesterday, going up over 30% in a day. And what if I were to tell you that you should get your popcorn ready because today could get even crazier? In this video, I'm gonna show you guys a couple of things. I'm gonna talk to you guys exactly about why the XRP price came down, about why Bitcoin is not pumping like crazy, but also, and even more importantly, exactly what we think is going to happen today. We have the FOMC meeting, and I've told you all, it's crucial that you understand exactly what the market is thinking about in that regard. We also, however, have other pieces of crypto news, and that as well I'll be covering in this video. It's very important stuff. It's cool stuff, juicy stuff. So guys, if you like these videos, make sure you press that like button. The last couple of videos, we've been hitting crazy amounts of likes. The 1.4 thousand is so bright, it just hurts my eyes. And last but not least, before I spill with you all the different secrets, I want to know from you, over the next 24 hours, do you think the crypto market will pump? Don't you know, pump it up? You don't know, or it's gonna come down. And the reason I'm saying that is because in a couple of hours, something is happening that I'm gonna be live streaming that I think will blow your mind. But just come back later and check out the channel. Before we get into the Bitcoin, XRP price, XRP news, etc., and all these oddities and all the crazy other news, let's quickly talk about what's happening tonight, explained by somebody that knows better. Again, you have to understand and acknowledge when people are just more knowledgeable than you and listen to them as to what they have to say.
For more now on what to expect from the Fed at tomorrow's meeting and the impact on stocks, let's bring in Victoria Green, Chief Investment Officer with G Squared Private Wealth, and Kevin Monch, President and Chief Investment Officer at Henyon and Walsh Asset Management. Welcome to you both. All right, Victoria, what's the setup here? How would you describe it to people?
Well, I think we have to realize they have to go another 25 basis points, especially on the heels of what the ECB did. But they are in a tough spot because I look at this as Maslow's hierarchy of needs. They need to put out the fire first before they can start rebuilding the house. And right now, the banking system hasn't really been quelled. There's been a lot of forceful response from the Fed, both from what Yellen said today. They're trying to do FDIC insurance. But I think we're all going to be looking at what does Powell say? What is the trajectory going forward? Are we going to see cuts like being priced in now? We saw these dramatic shifts in the bond yield curve, as well as future projections on where we go now. So I think it's not less about the 25 basis points. I think it's more about what he says on the trajectory going forward. And is he finally going to back off that hawkishness that he had been, beating the table about?
Then the caster basically asks, hey, do you think all of this is already priced into the stock market?
But yeah, if you look at what has happened in the last 10 days and you look at the Dow, the Nasdaq, and S&P, you would think that no banks failed and everything was fine. And so, yes, I think maybe a little bit it's that the dog meme where he's drinking coffee and everything's on fire and he's saying everything is fine. A little bit, that's what the market's been doing. But I think it's also looking past some of the crisis. It's saying we have government intervention. There won't be any other failures. And the Fed's about to come off the gas pedal. So a little bit, you are seeing risk on.
And then our Mr. on the right here is being asked, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think they're planning? What do you think they're thinking? Are they, or even if they go for a pause right now, meaning no rate increase, or even if they keep continuing it on, what then? What's next? What's happening? He basically just asked, what does this all mean for equities? And take a look or hear this response.
Sure, Tyler. And since March of last year, the Fed's primary focus has been on fighting inflation, essentially telling the markets that they were going to continue to raise rates and reduce their balance sheet until something broke. Well, now something has broken. And if there's any silver lining to this banking crisis, it's that it's going to prevent the Fed from being as aggressive as they want to help curb record-setting levels of inflation. So if we expand our investment horizon, Tyler, out over the next 2 years, when rates should be lower, when yields should be lower, when inflation should be lower, and when markets should ultimately be higher, well, there's some very attractive opportunities in the stock market, particularly in sectors that were beaten up in 2022 and should help lead the recovery out of this economic slowdown, which...
He then says this may still lead into a recession, but honestly, the different stocks that he mentioned, I'm not that excited about, so I don't want to bore you with that. Point being, though, there's going to be this very important FOMC meeting later today. I'm going to be live streaming it in about 8.5 hours from me recording this. I think about an hour before the meeting starts. Then we're going to be getting ourselves the interest rate number, which as of this point is expected to be 25 basis points, meaning that the interest rate increases by, 0.25%. Afterwards, about 30 minutes afterwards, as was described just now in the video, is going to be the future outlook, what they expect to happen. It's been said, especially in the crypto community, that this 0.25 is going to dump the markets. However, there's also a philosophy that says that this is already priced in. All I'll tell you is make sure you watch this stream later tonight, as all the newest advancements we'll be covering right then and there, and we're going to be looking for some juicy trading opportunities as well, as things are pretty nuts right now. In the midst here, let me just quickly tell you guys though, if you didn't yet, make sure you press that like button. And if you're looking for a platform to trade on, I personally trade on Bybit. There's thousands of dollars worth of bonuses you can get on there, so make sure you check it out. I'll leave a link down below. Thank you. To dive in, XRP's price went crazy. And there are a couple leading theories. There was the Corium airdrop, and that is very much justified because Sologenic and basically things on the XRP ledger did really, really well. But Sologenic, usually if it was like an ISO related pump, shouldn't have pumped that crazy. And since it did, a lot of people are saying, okay, it must have been this airdrop that people got excited for. I still stick with my will manipulation strategy because take a look at how perfectly it just went towards the 200 weekly moving average for XRP. I've told you guys before, what is the major resistance? What is the only price that we're looking at? The only price that matters a lot, it is the 50-cent region, which coincides as a psychological barrier, but also as the 200 weekly moving average. You can see it right there. You see what we touched? It came right back smacking it down right afterwards, over on the weekly, but also over on the 4-hour, over on the daily, whatever. It coincides to some degree, however, with how Bitcoin is finding its resistance as well, at a level which it's faced a lot of resistance at in the past. You can see just how many times it's gotten to this level, and again, it's similar to what is happening to XRP right now as we speak, as it keeps touching this level. And funny enough is that it happens very often when Bitcoin has reached its peak in dominance and starts to fall back down. It's just been peculiar. But anyway, right now in the US, things are getting crazy. And right now, one of the main questions that everybody has been having is, will more banks collapse? I've seen people state, yeah, it's the Exodus, things are going down, it's finally burning, yeah! And on the opposite side, I've seen people say, oh no, it'll manage from here, it's all gonna be fine. The Fed will save us. Yeah, sometimes I cringe with myself too, guys. Oh, okay. I don't know what I was thinking there. Anyway, you've heard both sides. People saying, no, it's really going down like crazy, or no, it's going to probably be fine from here. We've seen that same type of analysis, that same type of thinking with the FOMC meeting for later tonight and with the direction that the Fed is going. Just understand that everything is colliding right now as we speak. Literally, the exodus of it all is the decision later tonight. And the actual number does not matter because we all expect it to be 0.25. And even if it's a pause, right? This entire measure is to combat inflation, which can't be properly combated if your entire banking system is falling down because you're going to print more money then, right? So then you're combating inflation, which is only increasing. So you're combating it's like an uphill battle, basically. You can fight as much as you want, but if you keep printing, you turn the printer on even harder, it ain't helping. And in terms of the meme the woman just mentioned, it's this one where the dog is just chilling right there thinking, hey, this is fine. Because that's what seems to be going on with stocks. Even though everything is collapsing, it's going crazy. The market isn't really acting as crazy as you would expect. And part of that I like to blame on the fact that the people, the mass populi, doesn't even know that things are bad just quite yet. If I ask my mom right now, she has no idea that there's a massive banking crash going on in the background. At the same time, you have to realize they keep trying to fight crypto in the background. And some people have said, and I do justify it to a certain degree, they keep saying that maybe what's happening right now is their push for this newer system. Now, even though we've seen multiple parties in the US say that CBDCs are not the answer, we've started to see some really strange things. Anyway, here's the ECB warning stablecoins posing a larger risk for privacy than CBDCs. Now, the SEC is also serving SushiDAO a subpoena. In the meantime, while all of a sudden the ECB is fighting these useless battles, saying these useless things, Russia is taking some extreme measures because apparently they'll be using the Chinese yuan instead of the US dollar to settle trade with Asia, Africa, and Latin America. And all I have to say about this one is, if you think that the US dollar will stay the world reserve currency for forever, let me quickly smack you out your little dream right here, guys. Let me smack you out of there because it's not the case, right? What you're seeing in front of you right now is how different countries have had the leadership over the past hundreds of years. And you must understand that in every single one of these times, they didn't think it was going to change up, but something happened to switch it up. And right now, it's been 98 years since the US started its reign. The median and the average is actually 95 of these, if I remember correctly. So right now, we're already overstaying our welcome, so to speak. And so for this exodus, for this crazy shift in paradigm, it's not that crazy from a mathematical perspective that we're above the median, we're above the average. It's not an anomaly for things to change up right now. Anyway, in regards to the XRP price, just want to quickly justify it with one more thing. David Swartz said he accidentally turned a switch on in his garage and he saw it do nothing, so he switched it off again. Yeah, it's like a little fun jab at the XRP price. But there's also something quite peculiar that happened yesterday that I remarked upon, which is that all of a sudden Ryan Selkis, the guy behind Masari, even though they've been bearish on XRP all this time, all of a sudden they decided to switch up. Quote, this industry we've been trying to destroy that's grown to $1 trillion in value and that rallied 30% as our banking system required a $2 trillion backstop and in 10 years added tens of thousands of American jobs has no value or good qualities by the White House. That's again them referring to cryptocurrencies right now. John Dean says, with this administration's attitude and approach towards crypto, we are lucky they didn't keep control of the House. Some people are actually dubbing the yesterday's pump the Masari pump though, because all of a sudden Masari switched up their reign. It could be, however, that it's justified by the fact that they're doing this because the White House is all of a sudden so anti-crypto, or at least they look that way. White House says crypto assets do not offer any fundamental value, nor do they act as an effective alternative to fiat money. Again, let's quickly put into perspective here, guys. The doorbell again. Anyway, right now we're looking at, will all these deposits be insured? Is that going to happen? How will the US justify this? Where exactly will the money come from? Is the US going to print like crazy? And Balaji said, the infinite money is here. How we got here is a matter of history. The question is how we get out. Fed is launching their CBDC in July. You have about 90 days to exit. After that, you're trapped in a devalued digital dollar. It'll be a digital lockdown or Bitcoin independence. Again, this is coming from the $1 million in 90 days Bitcoin man. And you believe him or don't believe him, I don't care. He has a point to continue. And actually, I'm doing a little bit of a hurdle-burtle, summing up a lot of different things in a strange order for some reason. I always have them like lined up, my different articles, but for some reason, I decided to skip to the end and go to the middle again. Ryan Selkis says, I've been critical of Ripple in the past for various reasons, but more aligned with them than ever before. Ripple should win the overreaching XRP SEC case, and the XRP ledger should be afforded the opportunity to compete fairly on digital payments infra globally. The demand is here. So it's peculiar that they decide to show their insides right now at this time, but I guess it's because they can also feel the SEC's overreach and the fact that Ripple should come out victorious out of all of this. And then one more thing I should mention is these banks, again, from all these different layers, from all these different fields, they're trying to block you from getting rich with crypto. That's the way I personally see it. And if you disagree, that's on you. I've got my popcorn ready. I just told you. I went to the store to buy freaking packs of popcorn to watch this stuff unfold because I just think it's going to keep getting crazier. These banks have to go through heavier and heavier and heavier measures. And all I'm going to say for right now is I'm greedy at the right time. Right now, I'm buying crypto like a madman because the probability of it succeeding and the US collapsing it's just a pretty good trade-off in my opinion. Even if the US doesn't completely crash, I'm still bullish on crypto because, well, I'm bullish on crypto anyway. But if the US decides to actually mess up by one little misstep, I think the cryptocurrency space will pump so ridiculously much. It's just worth my investment. It's worth my time, and it's worth the risk that I'm giving it basically. Right now you can see the entire Bitcoin market is in greed because people are noticing this all together at the same time, which is unfortunate because that means crypto prices are going higher and that means you can't buy in as cheaply, but it's obviously as well for a very good reason. To end it off though, I'll tell you guys again, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you press that like button. It will be greatly appreciated. And also if you're looking for a platform to trade on, I have links down below to Bybit, so make sure you check those out.